Welcome to the Great Man Within podcast. Every episode designed to help you discover and live the great man within you. So today we're trying something for the very first time, which is I'm giving you a glimpse into my world of doing inner work real time. So for the past month and a half, I have started a practice that my friend George Bryant, who's a genius, he's brilliant in the arena of marketing. What's up, George? I know you're listening, and he's going to be a guest on our show in the very near future. He suggested that for me to connect with myself internally in the morning, after I do my breath work and my meditation and have my coffee, that before I go to the outside world, before I have any client calls, before I look at any emails or text messages, that I tap in and tune into what's going on inside of me, what's most present, and to do some audio journaling around that. Now, it's the same process for people who like to write in their journals, but for some reason for me, I've never really fully hit my stride. Brian loves writing in his journal. For me, it's always been kind of like a love-hate affair, right? Like I get stuff out of it, but it always feels like a chore. But this suggestion from George about dropping in and doing these audio journals, I really hit my stride. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, this podcast that I've been doing for over a year and a half, it feels natural for me. So today I'm sharing with you basically kind of like opening the kimono into my world of what I'm working on right now. And I actually really am excited to share this one with you because it's a concept that I plan on writing about in the third book that I'm going to be working on called The Great Man Within. And it's a topic that I'm really passionate about that Brian and I speak about regularly here, which is men making space for their emotions and for our feelings. And there's this concept that I started playing around with recently called the emotional board of directors. And without putting the cart in front of the horse, why don't I stop there and let you listen to my journal entry? I've been playing around with this concept of having an emotional board of directors. I see myself sitting at the top of this massive boardroom table with like 50 seats all the way around it. The table made of mahogany, rich mahogany. And each of the seats are filled with a particular emotion, like fear, sadness, anger, joy, bliss, gratitude, jealousy, insecurity, frustration, appreciation, and on and on and on and on, the full range of emotions and feelings. And each of these emotions and feelings I allow to weigh in. But I'm the chairman. I get a chance to choose who I listen to. And this is a revolutionary concept for me because for most of my life, there were plenty of emotions and feelings that I just wouldn't allow to communicate to me. I labeled them as bad. These quote unquote negative emotions like anger and fear or jealousy or resentment or being judgmental. These things I've been told are wrong, are bad, I shouldn't feel them. At a very early age, when I was a child and I would be angry, I would throw a tantrum and then I'd be punished, and sometimes the punishments were severe. And I learned very early that there was no room for anger. I couldn't express it. So at my board of directors, at my table, I made sure that anger never had a voice, right? Didn't even have a chair, didn't even get in the room because I was told that there wasn't a place for it, at least in the way that I had expressed it. So I shut it out. And what happened inadvertently was a whole other host of emotions lost its voice because when I discriminate like that, there's plenty of other emotions that are diluted or snuffed out or don't have a seat at the table. And over these past years worth of work through the Mankind Project and doing therapy and doing coaching with John O'Connor and doing coaching with David Waldis, who's my coach right now, from Aligned Living, and doing my men's group, where we focus on emotions regularly and feelings and give them a voice, because when they raise their hand and they have something to say, it's a concentration of energy that's looking for my attention. And this is very different than making that emotion the chairman, right? I do not give fear the gavel, right? I don't let anxiety sit at the head of the table. I'm always at the head of the table. I'm the fucking chairman. And these emotions have messages for me. And what's really fascinating is when I look at it this way, I see how when they raise their hand, they communicate to me. They raise their hand inside of me very differently. For example, the way that fear raises its hand is, it's usually like sometimes it's like this sharp, fast sensation in my stomach that feels like a, and there's like a brightness to it. It's like a lightning bolt in my stomach that sometimes sends a surge up my chest and then across my chest. And that's typically the way that like a fear, or one of the ways that fear communicates to me, asking me to take a look at it. Anxiety raises his hand that in a way that's like a slower, more subtle burn. You know, it's kind of like a bunch of bubbles that are hot in my chest and in my stomach, that it's like, you know, boiling the frog. It like heats up over time, and there's plenty of times where I don't recognize it right away until the heat turns up, and then I find that my breath is like stuck in my chest, and that's its way of communicating to me that it wants to be looked at. And when I stop labeling these emotions like fear and anxiety as bad, and I start to make room for them, because I realize they're never getting the fucking gavel. I'm always the one who's at the commander's seat. And I look at it and I say, brother, what do you have to say? And I let the anxiety, I let the fear have its piece, right? I have it say what it has to say, but I don't let it fucking filibuster either, right? Like I make sure that there's space for it to speak, but I'm not letting it go on and on and on and on and on and taking over the rest of the room and polluting the rest of the room with its agenda. I'm seeking for the truth that it's providing me. Because if that emotion exists inside of me, it's something that is either giving me an indication of my values, of what my values are, and maybe I'm out of alignment, or maybe there's a threat to my system, or maybe it's giving me a signal that there's an old piece of my operating system that needs to be upgraded, which is often the case many times when I'm feeling fear and anxiousness. One of the ways that this emotional board of directors has really helped me to love myself and appreciate myself more deeply is around this one thing. I don't know if you call it emotion or a feeling, but like, I can be a judgmental motherfucker. Like there's this part of me that can look at something and be like, that's bullshit. That's low quality. I don't trust you. Like quick, fast, decisive. And I used to beat myself up for being judgmental because one of the values that I hold most highly is that I am accepting and loving of all people. And I truly am. Like I can see the beauty and the gift in everybody, even in some of the most wretched human beings. Like I can see pieces of them, their humanity, that make them beautiful, despite things that they've done. I can see that, and I'm forgiving also. And so my deepest of values is to be loving and compassionate and see beyond the bullshit on the surface. But there's this part of me also, that is still really judgmental. And so when I gave this judgmental part of me a seat at the table to inspect why he's there, I learned to fall in love with this guy and also refine him. Again, not giving this judgmental part of me the gavel, but giving him, a spotlight, a seat at the table to speak, what I found was that the bright side of this judgmental part of me is that he's really discerning. Like, he can cut through the crap. He's got a standard that he holds. And when someone falls below that, or someone's showing up and faking it, or someone's lying, like this judgmental motherfucker, like, he doesn't put up with that. He holds the standard. He says, Dom, nope. That person either needs to be put in his place or you got to call him forward. That's BS. And he actually allows me to create safe environments for others because he doesn't allow garbage in, which is amazing. So the judgmental part of me is actually, when he's at his best, he's quite discerning. Right? When he's at his best. The shadow side is when he's not at his best and there's something off with him, then he can be just a dick. He's just a dick, and he's just looking for the negative in everything. Right? He's hyper-focused on what's wrong or what's bad or what's shitty about a person or a situation. And that's where he gets out of line, and I got to stop him and say, thank you for your contribution. Got it. And over time, he's grown by welcoming him at my table and giving him some space. Like, he has refined so that he's a dick less of the time and he's discerning more of the time. So I'm having a lot of fun sitting at this chairman seat because I have command. I also am having a lot of fun witnessing these many dimensions of me, surprised to see how many layers of myself exist. And I have an opportunity to explore them. I'm deeply fascinated by how wise these parts of me are when I allow them to communicate. And there are times where they can get sneaky and, move up to the head of the table and take over for a period of time when I'm not on guard, when I'm not fully present. I relinquish my seat at the chairman's table. And believe me, these emotions and feelings love to jump up in the commander's seat, and any one of them will kick and scream and jump on top of each other to get there until I sit back in my rightful throne and put everyone in line. And it's been a beautiful experience for me. So as I continue to think more deeply and to envision this board of directors and sitting down in meditation and asking who would like to speak, I'll continue to share more of these experiences with you. And I encourage you to construct your own board of directors and allow yourself to see which voices speak the most and maybe which ones need a little bit more love and attention at the table and which ones need to be put in line. Because when I finally have gotten these emotions and these feelings aligned in their support of building the best version of me, I find that they're quite cooperative. And they're together all getting better. They're getting their needs met. And as a result, so am I. So I encourage you to give this one a try. I have a really strong sense that this is going to be a very, very powerful practice for me in the many years to come. And I hope it will be for you as well. So what'd you think? That was unprecedented access to my personal journal entry. And if you dig that style and you want me to share a little bit more regularly around the inner work that I'm doing real time, then the best way you can let me know is to share this podcast to your Instagram story, tag me on it. I'm at Dominic Q on Instagram. Share it to Facebook. Tag me in that. I'm at Dominic Quartucci. I'm really easy to find on Facebook. And let me know what came up for you as you think about your own emotional board of directors and how you can develop a more loving, communicative process, an empowering process with the emotions that are residing inside of you. So yeah, go ahead and share that. Tag me in it. Let me know that you want more of this because I'm constantly doing this level of introspection. And if it's useful for you, I'll keep opening up the kimono and showing you what's going on in my world as I am working on living my great man within.